Hey everyone, it's Bradford, your carnivore curmudgeon. And if you've not yet seen my channel, you might want to know that I am an actual carnivore, but I am not a real curmudgeon mostly. And in my last video, I shared with you that I was turning 60 this week, and just so happened I turned 60 on my birthday. It worked out perfectly that way. And I also shared that I would be putting together a video of what I ate each week of this my birthday month. Now, usually I am vehemently opposed to the concept of birthday months, but for the greater good and for the cause, I'm going to share with you the things that I ate each week during this birthday month of March. And not only did I share that I would be posting what I posting what I ate, but I also mentioned that I'm going to be emphasizing more on the health aspect. And usually my thing is to get my exercise out in the woods, cutting wood, moving wood, doing different things like that. But I really need to spend some concerted time on regaining some muscle loss that I got after I had some surgery on my back and had a problem with sciatica. And so I'm concentrating a little bit more, and I promise I will only show you a little bit of the exercise routine so as not to bore you to tears. So I got the month started off right with some really delicious pork belly. I only fried this or cooked it in the oven. I did not fry it to crisp it up after, so it's still soft. But really, truly some of the best pork belly I've ever made. Had a pork chop and a couple of hard-boiled eggs for breakfast that day. And then later that night, the weather was so terrific. I broke out the new Auto Wild and cooked a delicious steak. Really, really loving this thing. It's a learning curve, but I like the way these steaks turn out. And what goes better with steak than some eggs and some butter? It was a good first day of the month. And later that evening, I got motivated and put a chuck roast in the crock pot for future use, which is coming up. Now, March 2nd was a Thursday, and I will admit that I forgot to take a picture of my breakfast, but it was the same breakfast that I had the day before. Just imagine it with one less egg. And then that evening, I had some of that chuck roast that I cooked the night before with some bacon, some eggs, and some butter. A perfect BBB and E meal. And on Friday, I had a pork chop and a leftover cheeseburger with some butter, and that's a frittata that I made with some smoked sausage and some ground beef in it. Later that night, went out with my family to celebrate my actual birthday, which was not until the next day, and had a delicious steak at a restaurant with some shrimp cocktail. Really enjoyed the evening with my wonderful wife and my daughter and her husband there on the right, and our son on the left. Great night. Then the next day, Saturday, March 4th, which was my actual birthday day, I started it off right with some of my favorite kind of eggs. I can't explain why, I just really like those egg molds. Nice, perfect round eggs. Had it with a pork chop, some breakfast sausage, and some bacon that morning. And then that evening, I went a little bit off the rails, not too crazy, but I really had a Jones for a quesadilla. So I had a beef and cheese quesadilla with some of the chuck roast that I showed you earlier. And yeah, it was a low carb tortilla on top and bottom. To be honest, it was like eating cardboard, and I really wish I wouldn't have done it. So live and learn. Next morning, some chuck roast, some beef breakfast sausage, bacon, and eggs to start my Sunday off right. And then later that evening, more of that chuck roast with an egg and some butter. Now the next day, March 6th, I didn't have any breakfast. It was just a one meal that day, and it was a good one. Although I only had part of that T-bone steak, one of those T-bone steaks. And then this is some venison backstrap that I made. So I nibbled so much of it that I really wasn't in the mood for an entire meal. March the 7th, the last day of the first week of March, About mid-morning, I had one of the last slices of that frittata that I made, and then capped off the night with some delicious chuck roast and eggs. And here I am in fast motion. I promise you, I don't move that fast. Getting the weights out and doing a number of different kinds of exercises. I think squats are really important. I do them in between each set as much as possible. And I'm concentrating on building some upper body strength as well as working on my legs and my back. And I think the very best thing that I'm finding for my back is actually a plank challenge, which I'm starting to see some improvement right away. Taking it a little easy though, because I don't want to overdo. So there you have it. Week 1 of March. It was a successful week, and I hope you'll check back next week and see what interesting things I have found to cook and to eat and whatever else I might throw at you. Thanks for watching.